Okay, this lessons video is probabilities from two-way tables. So two-way tables are an easy way to present probabilities in the same way that graphs and Venn diagrams can. So if we take a look at this, if we look at this table as an example, it's a table of years 11, 12, 13 students at Paradise High. We survey regarding their driver's license. So there's two events. So we have what year level they're in and the license that they have. So there's three outcomes, 11, 12, and 13 for the year. And for licenses, there is no license, learner's license, restricted license, full license. So four there. The other thing we notice in the table is that we've got totals, which is obviously important in probabilities to work them out. So each row is matched. Very simply, you can work out that there are 86 year 11s with no license. There are 47 year 12s with a learner license. As you can see, the year 13, the rate for no license is lower than what you would expect for year 11, and so on like that. There is no one in year 11 with a restricted or a full license, which you would expect as well. So the types of questions you're going to be asked is calculate the probability that a survey student was in year 12. So the key bits of information, remember, with probability is we need to know the total. So we need to know how many year 12s are there in total. And you can see we know that there's 103. The other thing is we need to know how many people were surveyed, or how many surveyed students are there. So in this case, there's 309, which gives us 0.3 reoccurring. And that's it. We've just got to use the language to apply it to the table. So the next one, calculate the probability that a surveyed student was on a learner license. So again, we've got surveyed student. So it must be out of 309, and there are 93 students that had a learner license. So there's our probability. Notice how the probability is in 4 decimal places. You should always do that. In some other subjects and things like that, they ask you to do 3 significant figures, but for probability it should be 4. The next one, calculate the probability that the survey student was in year 12 and on a learner's license. So in the previous example, we were just looking at a surveyed student. This time we're looking at a surveyed student that was in year 12 and was on a learner's license. So in this case, it's 47 out of 309. And that we end up with 0.1521. The next one, calculate the probability that a survey student was in year 12 or was on a learner's license. So when the word or comes up in probability, you should automatically think of addition. So we're going to have to add two values together. So first of all, what is the probability that a student was in year 12? Is that line, and the values for someone on a learner's license is that line. So it's going to be 103 plus those values. But what we have to be careful is that we don't count 47 twice. You see, that's included in year 12 and it's included in the learner's license. So we end up with that as our value. Okay. Calculate the probability that the surveyed Year 12 students, so notice how this language has changed. So surveyed Year 12 students, no longer just a surveyed student, is that this is called conditional probability. We're no longer talking about just any old surveyed student, but we're specifically talking about a Year 12 one. So if we look at Year 12s on 47, on a learner's license, there's 47, but in total, we're not looking at 309, we're looking at the total number of Year 13s, which is 103. Right, so that's an example of conditional probability. We're putting a condition on it that it's not the whole table that we're taking it from. Calculate the probability that a survey student was on a learning license was in Year 11 or Year 12. So we've got the answer there, so we can work back. So Year 11 and Year 12 learner license students, and this time it's out of 93. So probability that survey student who was on a learner license. So that's telling me that the group is survey students who are on a learner license. That conditional probability is a really tricky one. It tends to be the thing that people get caught out on. You just have to ask yourself, who are we talking about? What's the group that we're actually interested in? A short video there. So there's some questions in the lesson which you can complete. Also, in today's lesson, there is the Khan Academy quiz, which you need to complete as well. If you haven't signed up for Khan Academy, you need to do that as quickly as possible. The other thing to double check is you've completed everything in your lessons this week, and make sure you're all up to date.